Before we get to the show for today, I want to thank our sponsor, Anchor.fm. As you probably have heard by now, Sportswire has moved to Anchor.fm for its podcast hosting and distribution. It's the easiest way to make a podcast, and let me explain why. Main reason is that it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer, and then Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on any platform there is. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, anywhere. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So take it from me, Vinny Apicella from the Sportswire. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are listening to the most electrifying podcast in all of internet radio today. You are listening to the Sportswire. My name is Vinny Apicella, and I am back after about, want to say, 2 months of, 2.5 months, 2.5 months, something like that, of just losing creativity. Like, I didn't want to just be one of those people that just talks about wrestling all the time and just repeats everything you hear, whether it be Jim Cornette, Jim Ross, Conrad Thompson, or anybody else out there. So I had decided just to kind of take a break. Well, today is Friday, February 7th, 2020, and the 2020 vision for the Sportswire is to get better. And what I mean by getting better is, it's going to be harder hitting. It's going to be the shoot era. And I know that, Peter Rosenberg uses the shoot era as, part of cheap heat and everything. But I think I'm going to take it one step further. And I've always been someone not to pull punches. And I've always been someone to speak the truth, or my truth, and speak my mind. And I've been opinionated and open. And I'm not worried about people liking me as long as you respect the fact I have different opinions than you or other people. So, with that being said, a lot has been going on in not only the wrestling world, but also in our country, in religion, in just everything. I mean, religion doesn't usually change other than your belief system, if that's what so happens. So with that said, it is now 4 o'clock a.m., okay? And here's the deal. We've been going through a lot. First off, a big congratulations to President Trump. This week has been fantastic for the Republican Party, starting on Monday with the Iowa caucus and the Democratic debacle that it was, where they still, I don't even think they know even yet, and today's Friday, about who won the caucus or who gets the delegation from Iowa. And last I heard, Peter Buttigieg, or however you pronounce his name, he had the lead. But the Democrats are just screwing things up left and right, And then on Tuesday, the fantastic State of the Union address, and it was just highlighting his accomplishments of the country and what he's going to do in the next 5 years. Because with the impeachment hoax, which yesterday on Wednesday, or 2 days ago, President Trump was acquitted on both charges of obstruction of, government and, whatever else. He was acquitted of both charges, and I honestly feel because of the impeachment hoax, the Democrats basically sealed his election this year, which is a great thing for our country because we can keep making America great. And he's done tremendous things. However, even, 3 years into his presidency, And coming up on re-election, people still have that false narrative that he's racist. I don't understand the reasoning. I would love them to point out one thing that he's done that didn't benefit black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, all Americans. Okay, and everybody's going back, oh, well, he doesn't like Mexicans. No, here's the deal. He's trying to prevent illegal immigration. Illegal immigration. You come here by the proper channels, you become a citizen or get a visa, whatever, you're fine. But it's the people that sneak into the country that's the problem. Okay, and we've known this for a while now. Moving on to wrestling. Okay, we have our WrestleMania main event set up. Brock Lesnar will defend his WWE Heavyweight Championship against the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre, the winner of the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble. I have to say it was fantastic. This was the best Royal Rumble in a long time. The entire event from top to bottom was just enjoyable, and it was great. The Men's Royal Rumble was much better than the women's, in my opinion, although I have to say the women's Royal Rumble did spotlight two of the best NXT talents in the company right now. Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler. We know Shayna Baszler's been great, but Bianca Belair stepped it up to another level, and I look forward to her getting better. Bianca Belair is going to move on to challenge Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship at TakeOver Portland in a couple weeks, live on the WWE Network. And the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble is Charlotte Flair. And I have a feeling, okay, I honestly feel it's going to end up being Charlotte challenging for the NXT Women's Championship at WrestleMania against Rhea Ripley, which is going to be great. I mean, we've never had a Royal Rumble winner challenge the NXT Championship, number one. So that'll be a first. Number two, I don't think an NXT, other than the pre-show, an NXT talent has appeared on WrestleMania, and they're not going to put that match on the pre-show. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to this year's WrestleMania. It's going to be big down in Tampa Bay. I wish I could be there live, but unfortunately cannot. We already know the first two inductees into the WWE Hall of Fame this year, Dave Bautista and the NWO, Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Sean Waltman. I honestly feel like Eric Bischoff needs to be a part of that, but, thinking about it, anybody who was ever part of the NWO should celebrate. Even the members that are no longer with us, like Big Bubba, Ray Traylor and Brian Adams, and, just absolutely fantastic faction. It's, in my opinion, the greatest faction in history that had the most influence on the business, and actually that storyline in general. Not taking anything away from the Four Horsemen, but the NWO came around at a time where it was more realistic, and you could say that for all of NWA, Jim Crockett, WCW. It was always more sports based than the WWE. But you still have to understand that the WWE at the time was at a low point, and they were doing more cartoony characters. It has gone over on numerous documentaries and numerous shoot interviews. I'm really happy, and congratulations to Batista and the NWO for going into the Hall of Fame. Let's see who else is going to be announced. They're probably going to put a woman in there. Okay, who's it going to be? Victoria deserves it, absolutely. Molly Holly deserves it, unless she's already in the Hall of Fame. I don't think she's in the Hall of Fame, but, and you also have to look at who else could be in there. Vader, Bam Bam Bigelow, they both deserve to be. Demolition does, although Demolition said they will only accept, 10,000 apiece or 100,000 apiece to go into the Hall of Fame. But the Demolition deserves to be in there. Vader deserves, Bam Bam deserves to be, they all deserve to be in there. There's a lot of people that are not in the Hall of Fame that deserve to be there. The British Bulldog. Owen Hart, of course, we all know the situation with that. I hope that at some point soon Martha Hart's heart softens and allows the WWE, even if they, make the monetary donation to the Owen Hart Foundation, and it's like they don't make any money off of it. And any shirts they may put out of Owen Hart in the Hall of Fame again goes towards the Owen Hart Foundation. Martha Hart should, it's for the fans. It's the same reason why Lanny Poffo finally allowed the WWE to put Macho Man in, because it's for the fans, and that's all it is, Owen Hart was, could have been a world champion, should have been a world champion. In my opinion, Owen Hart was better than Bret Hart, and he deserved, and Bret Hart's in the Hall of Fame. So, I mean, that's that. All right. Let's see. So, like I said, I don't want to stay too long. It's only going to be, 10-minute episode right now. But I want to thank you for listening to Sportswire. We are on, like 12 different platforms. Wherever you find your favorite podcast, it is the Sportswire. I am Vinny Absella. Follow me on on Twitter at the Absella SWE. Follow Sportswire on Twitter and Instagram at Sportswire Audio. These shows, I'm going to work on getting YouTube back up and see where we go from here. But I don't know if it's going to be daily or when it just hits me. But the creative juices are starting to flow again. All right. My name is Vinny Absella. Thank you for listening to Sportswire, and I'll talk to you guys soon.